Good afternoon. I'm really excited to be here today at this event in Berlin. Thank you. As John said, I'm Josefine, Chief Operating Officer of Oricane in Luleå, Sweden. And in order to get here today, I had to book a flight ticket. And I did that on the internet. I went to the flight company's webpage, chose where I wanted to sit on the plane, and then I clicked on this little button saying check in. After that click, over 1.5 megabyte data was transferred, corresponding to the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. This information could in fact fit on one of these instead. And the difference between that book, representing non-green software, and this sticky note, representing Oricane's green software, corresponds to the market opportunity for Oricane's technology. And this was only for online flight check-in. Imagine the opportunities for big data. 1995, Dr. Mikael Sundström started his computer science research in how to create green software. He succeeded and founded Oricane. 2007, we started to launch our green software called BioCAM to the data communications market. And the year after that, we got our first international customer, one of the world's leading provider of networking and telecommunications equipment. And we have been delivering on a royalty-based license contract to that customer since then, working in a number of different projects spanning 3 generations of products. We have institutional investors, data warehouse customers. We have received several awards. And we have Mr. Lassi Noponen from Cleantech Invest. A year ago, he became a board member, and this year, Cleantech Invest also joined us. And today, we have 14 awarded patents. So, what is green software? That's energy-efficient software, software with a small CPU and memory footprint. I want to illustrate this with an example. Imagine that this is a small data center running with 12 servers having different software applications. If we replace this software with software that is 12 times more efficient, we could actually reduce the memory and CPU footprint for each piece of software by 12 times. And after that, we can start to shut down servers, performing the same work with 1 server instead of 12, using 1/12 of the energy consumption. A few years ago, we made a demo to show what our green software can actually achieve. And here we got higher search performance on a mobile phone with BioCAM than a leading commercial database on PC. And if you take the power consumption into account, we could show that our technology, BioCAM, is at least 100 times more power efficient. This year, we are launching our green software, BioCAM DB, an energy-efficient cloud-based NoSQL database to the big data analytic market. You know that companies today, they are capturing trillions of bytes of information about their customers, suppliers, and operations. And the demand to analyze this huge amount of information, to gain useful info, to increase revenues, make better business decisions, has highly increased. But because of the huge amount of data and the heavy computations required for analyzing the data, current business analytic tools cannot perform fast enough. For example, when different business analytic tools are connected directly to the traditional databases, the databases have to work at heavy load and still cannot provide answers in real time. In some cases, it can actually take several days to analyze the information. And this is essentially the same problem as driving a car blindfolded, only being allowed to take a sneak peek once every 60 seconds. It truly impacts the performance of a business only knowing after millions or billions of business transactions what is going on. Oricane's energy-efficient cloud-based NoSQL database, BioCAM, is designed to store, analyze, capture, and manage dynamic data when it happens, and deliver the right information to the right people in real time. BioCAM works as a complement to the customer's existing database or data warehouse solution. And when using BioCAM, we can shut down servers, and the resulting database do not have to work that hard, reducing the memory CPU footprint and having ultra-low energy consumption. Right now, we are working on a demo for this, for the BioCAM DB. And the data for this demo actually comes from the online game called Battlefield. There are over 20 million players in this game today. And if you think of this player statistic data as an Excel spreadsheet, it would correspond to over 20 billion cells. So that's a lot of data. Router manufacturers and semiconductor companies are currently being addressed with our product for data communications. For the big data analytic markets, we are primarily targeting customers in these different market segments. And we have already signed some test licenses. Regarding the business model, in the traditional license model, license fee is based on the amount of hardware used to deliver the agreed upon service level, instead of being based on the service level in itself. And larger CPU memory footprint means higher power consumption, so therefore this business model is non-green. Green software, of course, requires a green business model, and here, license fees should be based on the service level delivered, and not on the amount of CPU memory footprint. And in fact, you could argue that the value of software should be higher if the same task can be accomplished with a smaller memory CPU footprint. So, BioCAM DB highlights real-time analysis of dynamic data, data that is also being updated in real time, hundreds of millions entries. It's available as a web service with a JSON interface, and also as an OEM solution. And because of the ultra-low hardware requirements, BioCAM features ultra-low energy consumption. So with that said, Oricane's patented, unique, award-winning green software provides you with greater insight than ever before for faster, better, cheaper, greener business decisions, ultimately making a more environmentally friendly world. So now, it's time to drop that blindfold, and I will pick up that fantastic book on the floor over there with a good feeling. Thank you. Yeah, great.
Do you have a question for Josefine?
Thank you for the presentation, very interesting. As you pointed out, the software uses less CPU, that means less energy and less time, of course. So I wonder why your pitch is to present it as green software, might be tailored to this audience, and why don't pitch it as fast software, which has a maybe even greater value?
Yeah, you have both. You have both part. You have, it's absolutely, it's fast software, but also because of the extremely low CPU memory footprint, it is very, very energy efficient as well. So you have both of those. So I don't think you should separate them. I think you should talk about them both.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much,
Okay,
Josefine, one more
you.
time.
Yeah, great. Thank you.